Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Get a Life. I'm your host, Marlene Meir. And today, oh boy, we are going to talk about fortitude and other important F words today. So let's take a look at fortitude first. Fortitude is actually the courage or strength in adversity. And when we're talking about life and accomplishing all of the things that we want to in life, it takes a great deal of that fortitude. Fortitude is what pulls us, what pushes us, it's what helps us endure all of the stuff that one must endure. It helps us to dig deeper, to figure out all the ways that we can get around all of the obstacles that are just inevitable, that are going to interrupt our way. And it allows us to stay the course. Fortitude is something that we can rely on consistently to help us to keep moving forward, to take each step as we must to keep us in forward trajectory. Without fortitude, people give up, people bail, people don't stay the course, people lose the ability to lean into that grit, if you will, to begin again when you fall, which is inevitable, and to allow yourself to realize that you're way stronger than you think you are. And so with fortitude also comes the willingness to embrace fear. Probably one of the most horrifying F words there is in the English language, because fear shuts everything down. And nothing good really ever comes out of fear. Unless, of course, we can take that fear and channel it into something much better. Allow the fear to fuel us rather than shut us down. And fear is the ultimate dream killer. It stops us from taking adventures. It stops us from embracing change, because change isn't easy. And if we're too afraid, then we come up with 85 million reasons why there's no way in heck we're going to do something. Fear also stops us from creating. Fear keeps us from loving both ourselves and other people. Fear actually keeps us from having the very relationships that we so deeply want to have with another. Fear keeps us away from achieving our physical and our health goals, and also to do the things that we haven't done yet, that are beyond our horizon, that are beyond our knowing, that are beyond even our skill set. Fear can actually shut us down before we even begin. So it's learning to work with the energy of fear and allowing fear to be the fuel that helps us have that fortitude to keep moving forward. Another huge F word, particularly present in relationships of all kinds, is forgiveness. And the ability to forgive ourselves, the ability to forgive others, because we're all just out here being our human self, and we will make mistakes, we will hurt each other, we'll do things badly, and the ability to forgive is huge. I heard a great saying one time that forgiveness is for us. It's not really, it is for the other person technically, but it's really more for us, because when we don't forgive, we keep drinking the same poison, expecting the other person to die, and it never happens. For not forgiving just eats away and erodes our ability to do so much. So forgiveness is huge. Forgiveness is for you. The next one is the word fight. And this word irritates me because it's highly overused, usually completely inappropriately, and everything is about a fight. The fight against this, the fight against that. My favorite curtain is the fight against terrorism. Okay, so we're going to terrorize instead of being terrorized? I don't understand that. Again, fight. To fight, it's about, fighting is violence, right? It's about struggle. It's about going to physical cuffs and blows. It's about somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. When we fight, again, that's that negative kind of energy. And people talk about it, interestingly enough, when they talk about having the life they want. Well, I'm going to fight for this marriage. I'm going to fight for my dream to have my dream business. I'm going to fight. Well, my question is, why would you fight it? Why wouldn't you learn to work with the energy and embrace it a lot differently than, the fisticuffs and all of the negative things that come up around the connotation of fight? So it sets a negative tone. How about creating a more positive energy around the word and change the word fight to perhaps allowing, to, if it's hard, if it feels like you're running up against something, name it a struggle instead of a fight. Change it. Ask yourself, what am I fighting? And if you're fighting something, then it usually is a whole bunch of negativity and a whole bunch of wasted energy that could be really appropriately used in another way. So I challenge you to look at the word fight and how you use it in your own life. The next one, again, another great dream killer, is failure. What is failure? It's a lack of success. It's not meeting a particular goal. It's non-fulfillment. It's when things don't happen the way that we wanted them to or needed them to. And necessarily it doesn't mean that we failed. It just didn't work in that way. So are we going to let that whole concept of failure, so to speak, is that just we didn't learn how to do it properly this time? Is that we could have had a more optimal way to do something? Again, is there another way around it than just say, oh, it didn't work, I quit, I'm done? So I really allow failure to work with me instead of against me. And certainly, my goodness, I could cite a million ways in which I technically failed at something, and yet I learned so much from trying to do something that didn't turn out a certain way. I learned that maybe it didn't need to look a certain way, or that it needed to be a certain thing, that the outcome was actually exactly what it was meant to be and not necessarily what I was trying to control. So when we really look at failure and embrace it, as again, last week we talked about curiosity, embrace that whole failure with a curiosity about, wow, what did I learn from this? How can I become a better person so that I don't continue to commit these grievance errors against people or myself? What is it that I need to change or do or be or become to be a little bit better than I was last time, to have a different kind of outcome, to be more successful, to keep stepping toward what it is that I'm trying to create, instead of just saying, well, that didn't happen, so I'm done and out of here. The last F word that we're going to talk about to really encapsulate fortitude is fantasy, the word fantasy. And people, of course, we used to get in a lot of trouble when we were in school, or even sometimes in businesses. We're off in our own little dreamland, having our little fantasies, and we're told to come back to reality. Well, what if fantasy was just the brain's way of trying something on? Fantasy is our ability to visualize something. It's our ability to feel into something. So we've got visualizations, we've got feelingizations. Can I feel my way into something? When we imagine something, does it make us feel good or does it make us feel bad? If it makes us feel bad or it doesn't feel right, then it probably isn't. How can I use fantasy to create a picture for myself that's actually quite compelling, that then I feel drawn to follow and driven? Again, it's an important piece of manifesting. Fantasy allows us to try it on and see if it fits. And if it doesn't fit quite right, fantasy also allows us to conjure up some different alternative ways of doing that particular thing until it does feel like it fits, until it does work. And so I'd like to share with you a bit of my own creative fortitude. Now, I have these great fantasies of how I would like things to be and look, and I have these great creative thoughts about this show, actually, and As I may have mentioned before, I'm a little electronically challenged and I'm working with a very old computer and a very slow internet. So sometimes my vision of what I want to happen and then the actual creation of it, let's just say that I've embraced failure a lot with that process because I keep running into obstacles. My fortitude, however, allows me to keep at it, to keep trying, to learn something new, to still have that vision and do an end around. So I would like to share with you my creative exploration of this very concept of fortitude. I hope you enjoyed that. It was certainly a creation. On that note, I'd like to wish you that each sunrise bring more promise, each sunset bring you peace, and for those of you that have been moved with anything that you have seen or heard on the show today, I invite you to reach out to me with the information that you'll see on this aid. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.